Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Q&A for Castles and Gardens, May 2026, Luxury Women Only Trip. My name is Anna Fishman. I am the owner and founder of Olegana Travel Boutique, and today I'm joined by lovely Jane, all the way from UK, who's calling in at a very late hour, but I know she has little ones, so she would rather do this than put them to bed.
Yes.
Jane is my counterpart. Like I mentioned, she's based out just outside of Edinburgh, and she is the creative genius behind the itinerary. She dreamed it up. We dreamed it up together. She put it together into actual itinerary, and figured out all the logistics. And before we talk about all the nitty-gritty, I wanted to give the floor to Jane to walk us through some of the highlights of this itinerary about and show us all the amazing things that we're going to see in Scotland and England.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much. So yes, I'm based over here in St Andrews in Scotland, which is about 45 minutes to an hour just north of Edinburgh. So it's a lovely place to be on the East Coast. So it's a pleasure to be speaking to you this evening. So this lovely tour that I've been partnering with Anna on. There's more than 4,000 castles in the UK. So that's quite a challenge. And being able to, by the UK, I mean Scotland, England, Wales, Northern Ireland. And so it's always a challenge to narrow down to find a real mixture. Ages, history, heritage, but I mean, castles and then adjoining their beautiful gardens are part of our history. They're part of our culture. And so I'm delighted that this is a tour that we've been able to collaborate on because I think there's a lot of great stuff to see. The challenge is narrowing it down and finding the ones that are going to suit. But all that means is that if you love it, then there's more to come back and see another time. Um, so for this particular tour, obviously it's a 10-day, 9-night adventure, starting in the Scottish borders. So you have the option to fly into Edinburgh, Glasgow. Those are the sort of things that Anna can assist with. And then making your way down into the Scottish borders, which is about an hour and a half south of Edinburgh. It's a beautiful part of the country, rolling countrysides, many great and grand houses. And I think that's where we were keen to have it start. So we want you to experience a couple of the larger formal grand houses and gardens there. So there's Floors Castle. Then one that's smaller is Abbotsford House. Now that's got a very special history because that is the home, the former home of Sir Walter Scott, our very famous literary genius. And there's beautiful guided tour there, which gives you the history and the heritage of that, as well as the formal gardens that are laid out. So that's a really nice way to start. But it's not just about houses and gardens and great castles. We want to also showcase what else that part of Scotland has. So I really wanted you to be able to go to a local tweed mill, so a tweed and tartan mill. So we would be doing a tour there, opportunity to purchase fabrics for taking home as well. But that also takes you into the Scottish heritage of tweed making and tartan. So that's a really nice thing to do. Heading south from there, you'd travel down the east coast towards Northumberland. So you're actually crossing the border at that point into England. And then on Northumberland, you'd have a base there for a few nights. And the highlight would be Bamborough Castle, which is a huge fortress, I think one of the largest castles in the United Kingdom, actually. And it sits right on the beach, on a cliff face in Bamborough Beach. And it's really stunning, actually. And so there's a vast history there. I think there's been a castle there for 1400 years in some form or another. So that's a beautiful spot, very scenic. And there you're not far from Alnwick. Alnwick is home to Alnwick Castle. Not only that, but also the beautiful Alnwick Gardens. So Alnwick Castle is actually the formal home of the Duke of Northumberland and his family and has been for gosh, I think over 700 years. There you would have a tour in the castle, but you'd also have a garden tour and some free time. And a unique experience there is we want to bring in as much food and drink to this tour as we can as well, so that you're enjoying that side of our culture. And so there would be a lunch experience, and what you'll probably see there in the itinerary, it's in a tree house. This is very unique, very different. They have built a treehouse restaurant in Alnwick Gardens, and it's very special. So that's somewhere that you would stop and have a bite of lunch after exploring in Alnwick. Um, After this time, you would move away from the Northumberland coast in the northern part of England, and you would travel southwest into the Cotswolds. So the Cotswolds are a really charming, picturesque, and quaint part of England and the British Isles.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, oh yes, there you go. So there you can see it. I mean, it's beautiful. Quaint little cottages, lots of little rivers, brick bridges heading over the water. Um, you won't be able to see it all. We can't. However, we want to give you a taster of that part of the world. So there you have 3 nights in the Cotswolds. Some of the highlights would be touring some of these little villages. There's also lavender fields, which are beautiful. There's a little model village, which is being created, which sounds a bit peculiar, but actually it's a wonderful attraction to see. And it's a miniature model of a Cotswold village, and it's superb. And it's a real attraction for people. So that would be something else, as well as heading up towards Stratford upon Avon. So Stratford upon Avon, a rich history with William Shakespeare. There you have the Royal Shakespeare Theatre, and we would like for you to join a performance there at the famous Royal Shakespeare Theatre. There is another theatre which you may, in your free time, wish to see later. That's the Globe Theatre in London. So that's at the end of your trip, and you may wish to tag that on as a supplement at the end of this formal tour. But again, that's a wonderful experience as well. Again, from a food and drink perspective, well, there's gin distilleries and things around the Cotswolds, and we would like to incorporate a nice distillery visit for you whilst you're in the Cotswolds as well. There's always non-alcoholic options for anybody who doesn't want to take the alcoholic option. Um, so that's you over halfway through your tour at that point, and then you would move on in the area and go to Blenheim Palace. Blenheim Palace and then the following day Highclere Castle are two of the most spectacular looking grand houses and palaces in the country. They are well known as film and TV filming locations in the more modern times. But aside of that, they have a fantastic history of great British families. For example, Blenheim Palace was the birthplace of Sir Winston Churchill, and it's the Duke of Marlborough, and I think his name is Charles. They are still Churchills. So I think his name is Charles James Spencer Churchill. So he is the 12th Duke of Marlborough, and he and his family are still living there. So it's a working castle, it's a living castle, but it's also a real attraction for visitors to come and see the staterooms, as well as the formal gardens, beautiful dining experiences. And so yeah, the vastness of the estate at Blenheim is spectacular. So that's a real highlight, and we'll make sure you have plenty of time there to explore, some time with a guide, but then some free time as well. And then Highclere, as I said, most famously known for Downton Abbey as a filming location in recent times. But again, really with over 300 castle rooms, you can understand the scale of it, but the architecture is beautiful. And the way the gardens have been set out, I believe there have been gardens there again since over almost 1,000 years.
Wow.
They were set out. So there was some gardens there. So there's a lot to see. And again, that would be your final castle visit at the end of a lovely week, and before heading on into London, our capital city. So a quick few highlights there. I think at the end of a castle and gardens tour, there really is no better way to finish than ending up at the Chelsea Flower Show. If you are into gardens and horticulture, And even if you're not, it's actually it's really for everyone. Even if you're not a true gardener, but you just appreciate the outdoors and nature, the Chelsea Flower Show is superb. I went about, gosh, 10 years ago, and I was blown away by it. The scale of it, the design, from really traditional gardens through to the much more modern, the vast rooms of roses and every plant you could think of under the sun. And it's just got a really nice atmosphere, a great buzz. If you like purchasing things for the garden, they've got great shopping outlets there with everything you could think of. So a really nice day out. And I think our intention for that is to leave you at your leisure to a degree. The tickets are included within the package, and you'll be transported there and back from your central accommodation. But once you're there, we really want to give the opportunity just to spend the day, relax, explore it at your leisure, and really take it all in. Um, that evening, then, on this final day of your trip, we will be arranging a special farewell dinner and some drinks. I'm not going to say too much about it because we want it to be a bit of a surprise, but I think the what you can take away is that it'll be a nice view of London one way or another. So it'll be London in the evening, some drinks, a lovely meal, and just a lovely way to finish with the group that you have travelled with over the previous 9 days. Your accommodation in London, very
Hey,
central.
you're trying to. Now it's
Oh, hello.
actually. How do
Hi,
I?
Linda. I'll just mute you so we can finish the
Oh,
presentation.
that's
Thank you.
okay. And yes, so the accommodation in London, very central. In fact, all of the accommodations, just to give you an overview of that, these are these are not your typical chain hotels. These are either country houses, boutique hotels, or hotels with elegance. These are beautiful stays in sort of heritage properties, and I think that's quite important to tie it in with the theme and the feeling for the entire package. So we've gone to a lot of effort to make sure that we're finding places that you're not just turning up to a bog standard hotel. These are well thought out properties that will give you the service, the comfort, but also the history of that particular property. So we hope you would enjoy that as well. I'm going to leave it there just now. I've blabbered on, but I'm very able and happy to talk about and answer any questions that you may have on any of those points. But hopefully that gives you a summary of sort of the flow of the tour and some of the highlights.
That was perfect. Thank you so much, Jane. It was great to hear it from you, so I wasn't butchering the names of the towns and the castles, because I would certainly do that. But that also shows that we're not that just your typical travel agency that goes to a big box tour operator, takes their off the shelf, whatever itinerary they have for UK, just puts their branding and sells it. We created from scratch. So by scratch, I mean before even the itinerary is thought out. First of all, we need to have the relationship. So Jane and I have been working together for a few years now, and we have done together Outlanders filming locations tour in 2024. So we have worked from day one on understanding what our American and Canadian clients are looking for, what's interesting, what's important, and then creating really an amazing experience. Like Jane said, not going to the Hiltons and Marriotts of the world, nothing wrong with them, but it's just not the experience we're trying to give our ladies. We want a more intimate experience. We want a historic experience. We want a beautiful experience. We want a delicious experience. You will not be hungry in our tours. I, I
Yes.
have stressed a million times to Jane, and she's done a fabulous job on our Scotland tour, where we had every day we had a special meal. It could be as fancy as a meal with a view of Edinburgh or London, or as simple as a box lunch, but done with a lot of care and with local ingredients sourced from maybe a local shop or a local farm. So we've had fantastic culinary experiences, wine tastings, whiskey tastings. Here we're going to have gin tasting. So I just want to stress to anyone watching this and recording later that this is not your typical cookie cutter, London, Edinburgh, and some countryside in between. This is really a thought out, very, very well picked out locations and very well thought out itinerary to give you a really beautiful spring in the countryside of England and Scotland.
Absolutely. One thing I should maybe add just before is regarding transport. I didn't mention anything about transport during the trip. So the intention would be, you'll travel as soon as you start on day one down in the Scottish borders. You then travel together as a unit with your tour lead, as well as a local guide who will be with you throughout. And the transport for that, we would have you in a midi coach, so a luxury midi coach vehicle, that then you're in, in comfort, and you're traveling together with a driver and a guide, as well as your tour lead. Uh, then there is what we're planning to do to get you from the northern part of England down to the Cotswolds is to then travel by train. Again, a really nice experience whilst in the UK. Good scenery. You can sit back and relax a little bit. So you'll leave from Northumberland down to Cotswold and do that by train, which is about, I need to double check. I think it's about a 3.5 hour journey, that one. So that, and then when you're leaving Cotswolds again, there's going to be one single vehicle that would then take you into the heart of London. So there's no worries about chopping and changing from vehicles. There's really only, you'll have one vehicle in Scotland, one vehicle when you're going from the Cotswolds or in around the Cotswolds and over to London, and then you have your train trip. So again, that will be smooth, with a local driver who knows where they're going, and there's to be no concern on that front. So yeah, just to give you some, to ease any concerns about how you would be traveling whilst you're there.
Perfect. It's really nice to have the same driver and the same vehicle with you
Yes,
because you don't have to worry about leaving your stuff. We usually have the driver the full day, so if we're making stops, you can leave your bigger bag on the bus, your water bottle, your umbrella, charger, whatever.
yes.
You can just take a smaller purse and go do the tour and then come back. There may be singing on the bus. Especially after some whiskey and gin tasting. We had some Sweet Carolines blasting out last time. So we like to have a good time. So no matter where we are or who's traveling with us, we try to keep it lighthearted and have lots of laughs. And we do have serious conversations if we feel like it, but we're trying to really enjoy the scenery around us. And it's amazing to have local guide, local driver, local tour lead with us because they are just like Jane, part of the culture, part of that community. So it's great to hear from them what is it like to live in this area, from everyday life to thousands of years of history. So that I really love that local aspect a lot versus a lot of other companies, unfortunately, just bring people who are maybe great historians, but they maybe live in America and they've never really lived in that part of the world and don't really understand the little nuances. Um, Zaira, thank you so much for joining us. Do you have any questions, anything you want us to address after you heard Jane's presentation?
Really sounds pretty clear.
Okay,
Yeah, it was, a little more descriptive than the itineraries, and I gave me a good visual of what to
perfect.
expect.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Don't mean to put you on the spot, just want to give you a chance to ask if you have any questions. And we try to over communicate on our website that I'm sharing on the screen right now. We have obviously the itinerary, we have the pricing, the deadlines, and we have a little bit of an in-depth about different regions that we're visiting and also all our inclusions and all kinds of Q&A here. So like how does tipping work? Where does the group leave from? Do you need insurance? So we try to put all of that in writing so we don't have to overwhelm you on the call. You don't have to write it down and remember, but also I'm always available on email, Anna at Olegana Travel Boutique. You can always email me with any questions. The way that booking process works is a little bit different than maybe a lot of other companies. You cannot actually buy the tour of our website. There's no buy button. We don't take your money over the internet. What we do is you can click here to apply and you submit a form with all the information. It's just like your name, your address, and things like that. And then you also here there is a link to book a call. So it's a two-step process. You fill out an application and you book a call. application shows your intent that you want to join the tour, and the call is like Zara and I had yesterday. We just get to meet each other because we're a small group. We're a maximum 16 people. We don't take anyone just because they clicked the button and paid us $500 deposit. We want to make sure that we're actually are the right match for you, that what we're offering is what you're looking for, and that you are the right match for our group. Again, because we're only 16 people, it's not a bus of 50. So if we say something that you're like, I'm not sure, and then you come on a tour while you are not sure and you don't have a good experience, then no one else is, everybody, it will trickle down into everybody else in the group. So then it will affect everybody else's experience, and then no one will have a good time. So I always say I would rather tell someone, this is not the right fit for one reason or another. Maybe it's too much walking. We do about 10,000 steps a day. Maybe you're expected a lot more free time, but this is a pretty packed itinerary. Whatever the case may be, we're pretty much very upfront about what's included, what's excluded, and what to expect. And we hope that this is what you're like, what we're offering is what you're expecting. If that's not it, I would rather tell you, this is not the right tour. Maybe look at this, maybe look at our Sicily, maybe look at our Italy. Like I know this tour will be in May, so there's quite a big chance of rain. So you need waterproof shoes and maybe an umbrella and maybe a rain jacket and maybe a couple of sweaters because it's still England and Scotland. So if you're expecting beach days, that's not the right tour for you. But if you're expecting a lot of fairy tale vibes, as they say these days, a lot of castles, a lot of gardens, blooming spring, charming experiences, afternoon tea, train ride, this is really the experience for you.
Yeah, I can completely concur with that. And in terms of I mean, it's no surprise that they do the Chelsea Flower Show at this time of year in May. By the time May comes, I mean, the country is really blooming. It is absolutely beautiful. And some of these gardens have really come to life. The color is vibrant. So yeah, in terms of sort of through April and May, when things are starting to warm up, May is really quite a spectacular time to come. And early to mid-May too, actually. So yeah, Anna's absolutely right. We can't say there's never going to be any rain. There might be, maybe more overcast days. However, I've also lived weeks in the UK in May where it is beautiful and it can be some of the nicest months of the year, more so than what's expected to be our summer. So it's not. I wouldn't come for the weather, but I would like to think you'll be pleasantly surprised. But in terms of what you'll see, absolutely, it's a beautiful time to come.
Definitely. And last time when we did Scotland, we did I think even 2 weeks before, that was first week of May, and we got
Yes.
very lucky. Like it had a little bit of rain a couple of days,
Mhm.
but otherwise it was chilly, but it was beautiful. It was vibrant just like this. Um,
Yes.
Another thing I wanted to mention, what makes us a little bit different from other tour companies is that we don't only do this tour and then you're on your own for everything else. If you want to come early, and maybe you've never been to Scotland or England and you want to extend your trip and you want to come early a few days or maybe even a week, if not longer, and spend more time in Scotland and then at the end stay extra time in London and explore more of England, we're more than happy to extend that as a service to you and create a custom extension before and after. Will work with Jane on figuring out all the logistics and making offers. I've been on these destinations several times myself, so I'm happy to give you my personal recommendations, but we will essentially hold your hand from the very beginning to the end, from flights to travel insurance to airport transportation to extensions. We'll take care of all of this for you, so you never have to worry about having to like figure it out on your own. And I know a lot of women who come on our tours unfortunately have to come solo because for whatever reason they just don't have anyone to travel with. Um, and I can promise you'll never be alone on this tour. You will always have someone to sit next to. You'll always have someone to have lunch with. You'll never have to have dinner by yourself or worry. It's not going to be like first day of school. Who do I sit with at lunch? We all sit together at one table. It may be a table of 8 or maybe two tables of 16. But you always have someone to sit next to, and you'll find after first 12 hours, after the first glass of whiskey is poured, the walls come down, and the friendships that are developed on these tours are really, really heartwarming and amazing. We've had people who have done, we have as of right, actually right now that we're recording this, two of the women who met on our Scotland tour. Jane, I don't even think you know this.
No.
They became friends, and now they're in Italy on our tour doing
Oh,
Italy too.
lovely.
So, and then they're coming back again in May on this tour as well. So you may meet new friends, make new connections, and even if you don't travel with them anymore after that, you'll definitely have a great time, and you'll have someone to chat with and to share life stories with. So this is definitely our like unique selling proposition and what makes us different from other tours.
Mhm.
Okay, I think we have covered pretty much everything I wanted to cover. Thank you, Jane, for your time. Sorry for the late call. I know it's pretty late for
Pleasure.
you. Zyra, thank you so much for joining in. I know we have a lot more people who are waiting for this on replay and the recording, so we'll send that over as soon as possible. And like I mentioned, any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Please keep in mind we're closing registration the next couple of weeks, so don't miss out because we cannot hold the rooms after that. So it will be a pity if you decide on one day later and then the rooms are gone. So thank you again, everyone, for your time. I
Thank
will stop
you.
recording now if I can figure out how to do that.